Hi everyone, I hope you all had a great week. In this week's report, we'll take a look at the lake levels, we'll see whether fish are biting. The Adaminaby Easter Fair is on next weekend, so we'll take a look at what's on there. Pete visited Denison recently and has a great drone photo to share with us. I'll update you on how many people watched our last report. You might be surprised. I sure was. There's the weather, pick of the week. We have another lost and found entry, and there's this week's fishing meme. Okay, let's start. Here's the report for the week ending 13th of April 2025. Lake levels in the mountains all fell this week. Lake Eucumbene fell the most, down 0.8%, and now sits at just 42.4%, almost 13% lower than it was last year. Tantangara Dam was also down slightly, 0.1%, and Lake Jindabyne fell 0.4%. With little to no rain likely in the coming week, the lakes don't look like rising anytime soon. More on the weather later in the report. With water temperatures finally dropping, fishing was vastly improved this week. Regular visitor Reno again took a trip to Frying Pan and reported a surface water temperature of 16.7 degrees. This is down 4 degrees in the past 3 weeks. Although Reno didn't catch a fish this trip, he took these wonderful photos. Looking forward to hearing about your next trip, mate. Frank took a trip to Eucumbene during the week and caught this lovely brown off the bank while spinning at crows. Nice catch, Frank, and thanks for sharing with the group. Nice to see some young fellas getting amongst the fish. Kobe Taylor and family fished 7 gates during the week, with Kobe catching this awesome brown off the bank. What a catch, Kobe. I bet mum and dad were proud. So what did Kobe use to catch this one? Yep, rainbow power bait. Well done, mate. Warren Sharp recently shared a wonderful memory of a time he fished Buckandera with his great mate John Hyland. Back in the mid-90s, while fishing on a small rock, Warren hooked up a 3-pound rainbow and it was running him all over the place. Thinking the water below the rock wasn't really that deep, Warren thought he'd jump in and walk the fish to the nearby beach. Unfortunately, it was deep, up to Warren's chest. He was soaked, but successfully landed the fish, with his mates laughing on from the bank. Warren said that unfortunately John Hyland can no longer fly fish, so gifted Warren his prized rod. Warren went back to Buckandera this week to try and catch a fish on John's rod. Warren again saw the very rock he'd fished on all those years ago as he landed this 2.25-pound rainbow on John's rod. Warren also landed this lovely 3.75-pound brown on his own rod. The colours are simply stunning, Warren. All fish caught were returned to the water to fish another day. Great memories, Warren. Thanks for sharing with us. Also getting out and about this week for a visit to his favourite fishing spot was Matt Burns. Matt spent a few days at his cabin in Angler's Reach and fished both the lake and nearby Eucumbene River. Matt saying the fish weren't in a particularly hungry mood while he was there, but he did land this nice brown on a lure from the bank. Matt telling me the weather was beautiful and he can't wait for his next trip. Thanks for the great pics, Matt. Rob spent some time at Yens Bay during the week and landed this beautiful 8-pound brown on a yabby. Awesome catch, Rob, and it looks like it was a cracking day weather-wise. Thanks for sharing with the group. Phil fished at Old Adaminaby during the week and caught this lovely and lively rainbow on a worm. For those who know the area, Phil fished directly below Mark Fountain's house. Nice catch, mate. Finally, on the fishing front this week, Anglers Reach locals Tiny and Julie Egan took advantage of Tuesday's lovely autumn weather to wet a line and share a beer. While they didn't catch a fish on this occasion, I couldn't think of a better place to spend a few hours. Cheers, guys. Don't forget, if you've been up to the lake lately, please post a few pics or a report to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, and I'll let others know in next week's report. If you're in the area over the Easter break, I can highly recommend spending Saturday, the 19th of April, at the Adaminaby Easter Fair. The beautiful little mountain town comes alive, with locals and visitors alike flocking to enjoy a real country Easter fair. Just some of the events include market stalls from 9 a.m. Country and western performer Jay Podger will keep the crowds entertained with some great music. Tea and scones are put on by the local CWA. There's a wood auction, just in time for winter, a tug of war, dog high jump, and even a watermelon eating competition. There's a petting zoo and games for the kids, face painting for the young and old, an Easter bonnet parade, the Easter Bunny even makes an appearance, and the very popular Wacky Quacky Duck Race. It's almost famous, and as usual, sells out really quickly, so grab your duck and good luck. The Snowy Ski Museum will also be open on the day from 10 till 2. The museum has wonderful displays of equipment, artifacts, and photos from the development of the Snowy Mountain scheme. It's a must see. There'll also be an art exhibition in the Adaminaby Hall. It really will be a wonderful day. The Adaminaby Easter Fair next Saturday, 19th of April. Oh, and while you're there, make sure you try your luck at one of my favourite events at the Easter Fair, trout tossing. It's a lot of fun. This week's offering from Pete is this great drone shot of the remains of the old bridge that crossed the Eucumbene River over Tollbar Road. Vehicle access to this spot was closed back in 2017. Personally, I've always found this disappointing, but anyone watching this right now who went up there just before the river closed for the annual spawn run would know it was like Pitt Street. Cars were up and down the river and the banks were being cut up. Unfortunately, some were also doing the wrong thing, including burnouts, so it really was only a matter of time. The closure cost the New South Wales Recreational Fishing Trust and Snowy Hydro almost $90,000 to protect a 4-kilometre stretch of the Eucumbene River near the Denison camping ground. This was done by placing a gate 900 metres from the river and using large rocks to prevent vehicle access. Concerns around access to the river for people with disabilities was addressed through the Master Locksmith Access Key System, which allows people with disabilities to gain 24/7 access. To apply for a key, contact the Angler Access Manager 2 weeks before your trip on 02 6042 4214 or via email to angler.access@dpi.newsouthwales.gov.au. Wow, what a week! In last week's report, I mentioned how much my social media channels were growing. We have over 22,000 members of the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, and the YouTube channel is growing daily. I was hoping to crack 100 subscribers to the channel during the week, but we've smashed it. We now have 280 subscribers. So thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. If you haven't, please subscribe and you'll get notified as soon as I put new videos up. Just on these video reports, last week's report has now been watched by 3,500 people so far. Just amazing. Thank you. Looking at the weather for Lake Eucumbene in the coming week, and more dry, mild and settled weather is ahead. Maximum temperatures will range from 21 degrees on Monday, Thursday and Friday to a cooler top of 16 degrees next Sunday. Nights will be very mild for this time of the year, averaging around 9 degrees. Little to no rain is again forecast in the coming week. Pick of the week this week goes to regular Eucumbene visitor Dave Westcombe. Dave took a trip to Anglers Reach during the week and snapped this great pic. The weather looked absolutely gorgeous, Dave. Thanks for sharing. And don't forget, if you've been to the lake or region lately and have taken some pics, why not post them to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group and you might just see them here in a future report. I don't know if the boots found last week ever made it to their owner, but we have another lost and found report this week. Sean found this hat and shoe at the Buckenderra boat ramp. Sean has left them at the shop at Buckenderra, so if they're yours, please see Jana or Josh. Thanks for being so thoughtful, Sean. This week's fishing meme was sent in by Eric. I love it, and I think we all have a fishing buddy just like this. When your fishing buddy was at the bar hammered at 4 a.m. and still meets you at the boat ramp on time at 6 a.m. In fact, I think I know a few people like this in the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group. Thanks for posting, Eric. Well, that's the report for this week. I hope you found it useful. As always, I'm happy to receive feedback or suggestions. And don't forget, if you're looking for more information on Lake Eucumbene, don't forget to check out my social media channels. There's the website, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll receive updates whenever I post new videos. Have a great week, everyone. Don't forget the Adaminaby Easter Fair next Saturday from 9. Stay safe and tight lines. Bye for now.